But hey guys, this is E.G. Fisker Guy, and today we have our guest, Jay Foster, one of my family members of mine, and is very into the spiritual realm. He's definitely been on the journey himself, and he has a lot to say to you guys. So tell us, how's your journey been, Josh?
Man, I'm doing good. What's up with y'all? My name's JF from
You talk a little louder?
And I'm here with EG, and we're going to discuss some spiritual topics.
So tell us about your first encounter with the spiritual realm, and could you elaborate on that for us?
Well, really, it seems as if I've been dealing with the spiritual most of my whole life. I feel like, it came to me when I was a shorty, to where, like, I was in the bed, sleep, woke up. And most black people won't tell you they've seen aliens or anything like that. Because, niggas don't really see aliens like that and shit. But I seen some aliens when I was a shorty.
I remember you telling us you see these reptilian beings that came in your room.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Man, it's scary. Scary.
Scared?
Scary.
But when you say you have to have, courage to be able to see that, definitely.
Nah, because like when you in the moment of seeing some shit like that, you just get into the mode. You don't even think about it. You just looking. So to where like every time I seen some crazy shit in my whole life, I never locked up. I never panicked or nothing. It's always been a surreal moment to where I'm in it and I'm just looking at it. To where like I seen like, what I'm saying, have you ever had a dream so realistic you woke up and you couldn't stop thinking about it all day?
For sure.
Okay, now have you ever did something in a dream you never did before in real life?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so now I've seen situations, near-death experiences in dreams, and I just froze and looked at it, where it was like, I didn't even feel the fear behind it. That same feeling came over me every time I seen aliens. I wake up, 8 years old, wake up middle of the night, look to the left, there's a creature there. The classic ones, like they say, big eyes, big black eyes, big heads. Right there in my face. I freeze up, just look at it for a second, stare dead into its eyes. Give it a good minute. Just look at it. 5 minutes later, I put the blanket back over my head to go back to sleep. It's gone. Wake up in the morning, try to tell my family about it. Nobody believes me. I've seen the big-headed aliens with the big black eyes. I've seen the reptilian creatures with the split eyes, the snake eyes. I've seen all types of things. Things that people haven't even just talked about. Fairies, little fairies fighting around the room. I've seen big mammalian-looking things, half alien, half human, half elephants.
So,
like Gishnu, the Indian god.
Okay. So tell us, are these ghouls, are these angels, are these your guides? What energy could you feel towards these things?
This is my contention. This is my contention. That when you enter the dream world, you actually enter in a whole other dimension. There are different creatures and stuff that live in them different dimensions. Just like we inhabit this dimension and there's humans that run this world. Now when you go to another dimension over, okay, now you have it split off into a world that is inhabited by humans that's right behind this one. And it's another alternate version of this reality where we might actually have Fry Street in Knoxville. But instead of there being a empty house right there actually might be a corner store right there. You know what I'm saying? There's different versions of the same reality. Now the farther away from this reality you get, the weirder it becomes. So where you might be, what you said, a couple of degrees, well, you might be 20 degrees off from Earth, and you got creatures that look like insects that run this dimension. Now, what I was doing was I was entering those worlds. Now, when I was coming back to Earth, the connection from being a small child, I mean, I eat no dirty foods. My connection was so strong that I was still pulling images from the other side. So I was able to see the alien and the room that I was in at the same time. And this is how I know. Because I reached out to touch them several times. And my hand touched it? No, my hand went straight through it. So just let me know that the creatures wasn't there in the room with me.
It was just a spirit manifestation.
Right, it was just an image. It wasn't really physical in the room with me. It was me just seeing, looking into another dimension. That's really all it was.
Okay, that's wild. So you've been going to like in-trance states in your dreams and been going to these realms, or is it like through a meditation or through your dreams?
No, see, this I'm going from the beginning. From a child, I never even knew what was going on. I just thought it was monsters. I came to my parents, I'm seeing monsters all night. Can you please help me? I'm running to my parents' room. I'm scared. I seen the monster. I seen a creature. I don't know what's going on. So my perspective never was, okay, I want to see these things. I wanted them to go away. I was raised up in a Jewish household. So they told me to pray to Yahweh to make them go away. So I would pray all night.
Did it help?
And that's for the creatures to go away. Eventually, this is what I did do. I made a pact with God. And I said, I won't do anything against your law or nothing if you make these things go away. 2, 3 nights later, the worst one happened. I wake up in the middle of the night, look to my closet. There's this little, maybe 2 foot tall, 1.5 foot tall, little gremlin looking thing, little monster looking thing. He got a hat on like a nigga would wear in the winter, like a winter nigga hat. Like, you know, floppy at the top, like niggas wear. And he's smiling at me with an evil looking face. He's laughing at me, like, ha, 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 ha. I'm freaked out. Usually, like, I'm looking at him and I just lock up for a minute, like I was saying. This time, I jump into action. I'm thinking, I gotta fight back. I grab my pillow and throw it at it. Disappeared. Since then, I never seen the other one again.
Wow.
It just stopped. That day, it just stopped completely, 100%. Completely 100% stopped right there. And at the time, I was extremely happy that it happened. I didn't want to see him no more. But then, you know, when I got older, I started to realize what was going on. And I saw David Icke's book. I read David Icke's book a couple years later. My dad had it. And started to realize that other people had these experiences too. And I kind of wish they came back so I could go and, you know, get more information. Because now that I look back on it, I never actually really felt fear in the presence of them until that last time when I tried to attack it. Which might have been my own brain.
Thinking it was something bad.
Right, thinking it was something bad because my parents would tell me it was demons, pray to God for it to go away. Because every time I would see them, I would just lock eyes with it and look at it. It was never no fear thing. But the impression that I got off of them was fear from them. As if they were scared that I was looking at them in the eyes. Like, oh, this guy's really able to look at me? Especially from the reptilian one. I seen the reptilian one just one time. That's the only time I seen that one. I seen the grays several times.
Tell us about that.
The one time I seen the reptilian was, okay, I woke up in the middle of the night and I looked through the bars of my bed and it's right there hunched over as if it's looking underneath my bed to find something underneath my bed. Right. And then I look at it and it looks up at me surprised, like, as if it's, okay, you're looking at me surprised. I'm able to look at it in its eye. I lock eyes with it for a good minute. And the person, like I said, the impression I got off it was fear, that it was scared of me. And then I covered my head back up in my blanket and went back to sleep. And in the morning time I woke up, it was gone.
Wow. And seeing it as a young kid, I mean, that's something, man.
Yeah,
usually kids are, you see in the playgrounds and the video games, they're not seeing entities in the room that young. Probably they are, but I know my childhood, for myself, I've never had any of those encounters before.
My thing is, I've looked up all different types of stories of people seeing aliens.
Right.
And something I've noticed, usually most black people aren't involved in this type of topic. It's usually white people that go in and talk about aliens and alien encounters or whatever.
Right.
And I've heard different people say that their family has a pact with these aliens, where these aliens have took my mom, they took my aunt, my grandma, and then now they're taking me. So, and I think it is a real rare thing to hear about a black person talking about alien encounters and stuff. And I was never abducted by them or have any memories of being abducted, but I have at least 30, 40 different alien encounters where I just woke up in the middle of the night. All happened the same. Woke up in the middle of the night in my sleep, looked up, boom, creature there. Never no explanation of this.
That's something, man. Like, so I knew right now you do see the reptilians out here, though.
Now, this is what started to happen to me later on in my life. Because I've seen reptilians since then, but not in the physical world. Now, like you said, going to other dimensions, this is a possibility. And this is a possibility through 2 different ways. Dreams. Every night when you go to sleep, everybody leaves their body. You might have a dream about being a dog or a cat. Now, you might not remember your dreams, but everybody has them, though.
Right.
There's another way to enter these dream worlds. Because if you haven't noticed that, when you're asleep, you don't have the same personality that you got when you're awake. You're not your character that you're playing as. You might play as that character, but it's possible to play as other characters.
Just smoking, rolling out of you.
Right.
What do you say?
Just smoking was just like
Oh, yeah.
a lot more than I thought. Just keep rolling out.
How about
This is what I learned how to do a couple, like maybe a year ago. Was having to turn my personality off on cue. You know, there's a series of meditations that the Hindus teach to enter their true self. There you go.
I'm good,
You
bro.
good?
That's good weed, though.
One of them is, I'm not myself, I'm not my body. Breathe in, I'm not myself, or I'm not my body. And then breathe out, I'm not even my mind. Doing that meditation in and out, in and out, in and out, it's like a question pops up, and the question is, who am I really? If I'm not my body or I'm not myself. Well, this is how it happened to me. It smacked me in the face. Who am I really then? It's like it just hit me like, wait a minute, who am I really then? Right then, personality turned off. But then this made me think, this is the first time this happened though.
Who am I?
Right. Who am I really?
Like at the end of the day, I don't want to be EG. I want to be that guy that's up there.
Yeah.
I want to see him because the key is to transcend to him now. That's the key. And you got to realize that the key is to transcend to your higher self. You have to do that now. It's not living in the matrix. That's what you're here for.
Let me tell the full story, because I didn't want to put this in there, because I know some people might look at drugs in a certain type of way and say, okay, you might have been hallucinating. But the first time my personality turns off, I was high off of K2, higher than I ever been. Smoked the K2 out of bong, and 3 steps, doop, 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 I came out of my body. But when I came out of my body, I wasn't looking at my body. I was in another dimension without my personality. And it was like a stillness that I could feel, but I couldn't think or be who I am now. And it's like this black space. Hard to describe. But like you said, that person up in the sky, who you really are, I became for a second. Right. Which I really think there's other levels behind that, but that's the one behind being a human being. And then right in that moment, I freaked out, and all I could do was try to push my spirit back into my body and try to remember who I really was. Like, okay, my memories, trying to pull myself back into my personality. Try to remember my name, try to remember where I was born. All them things were lost when I was on the other side. But ever since then, I was very, very...
It was almost like you lost your soul, bro. Because, like, your soul is like the seat of memories, I think.
See, not really, because even if I didn't have my personality, I'm still able to be
somewhat aware,
I'm
right?
still able to be alive, you know?
Yeah.
The true self isn't the personality. It's like a car. You know, we're in this car right now, but we're not the car.
Nothing, but it was, you
Nothing.
smoked the K2
We're
and
not
it
the
happened?
car.
Smoked the K2,
Yeah.
and then it was like I was in my imagination playing basketball. And then it was like doop, doop, doop. And I was like, I floated straight out of my imagination, and I was out of my personality. My personality was gone.
That's weird.
I couldn't be myself no more. They call it ego death. You could Google this. This is a known thing. Ego death. People do this off of acid and stuff all the time, where their personality dies.
I think it's the greatest thing to happen.
It really is. It shows you who you really are. Because all we are is like an MK Ultra victim, broken down into different personalities, all existing inside of the same mind. All we are is a billion different personalities, all existing inside of one globe.
Yeah.
So if you could turn your personality off, you could really get back to the seat of, oh, all is one. People say all is one. What do you start to see that then? How we all are connected to the same source.
Yeah,
but we're just different personalities playing with the same source. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is something I became really obsessed with. My personality turned off. I was like, what in the world was going on? And the weirdest existential thoughts started popping in my head. I mean, I really actually got DP, or whatever they call it, personality disorder, with a DPDR or whatever, where it's like you have a person where you start disassociating yourself. Well, I started to disassociate myself from reality. And this question started popping in my head. Where was I at before I was born? The weirdest question, you know? And I started going over and over in my head. And the one that I was in my apartment, I just kept going over it. Where was I at before I was born? Where was I before I was born? And it was like, boom, my personality turns off again. This time I wasn't high off nothing. I'm sober. Standing up, we talked to my girl. And it's like, boom, I was going out of my body. And it was like I was back into that same darkness, that same still space. But this time it was different. I was in a control room, standing around this table, which leads me to another story, but I'm gonna finish this one first. And standing around the table was 3 reptilians, like I saw when I was a little boy. 3 reptilians standing around the table. And it was like when I looked at them, it's like they could sense me. They knew I was there too, and they came at me. They tried to attack me. And like I got this cold chill all over my entire body. Pins, needles all over every part of my body. Cold as an iceberg. And it was like I just tried to come back into my body, try to push myself back into my body. And like, just get back in your body. Got back in my body. So I got back in my body. It was like I was crying, bawling tears, talking. Like came up to my girl, holding my girl, crying to her, scared as life, talking about they're watching us. They can see us right now. And I had the most paranoid feeling that them reptilians in that control room were still able to look at us inside this dimension. Because look, one time, this is the backstory I said I had to tell. One time, me and my girl were sitting inside of the car and we were smoking. And we both had the same experience at the same time. The experience was we left our bodies and we floated up to space and we saw the earth as a speck, like Horton Hears a Who, the movie. The whole earth just in this little speck. Now this is the same thing that I seen when I went up and seen the control room with the reptilians. What they had was the whole earth on like a table. If anyone's seen Westworld, that show, when they had the whole Westworld stage on a little table and the controllers were able to look in on certain parts and do whatever they wanted. When I left my body, I went to this dimension where I was able to see these reptilians looking at our world under the same, connotations of the Westworld show. Now, I don't know if the Matrix movie is real or not, but this experience that I had reminded me very much of the Matrix movie, where we were held captive inside of a dimension and our captors are inside of another one. Same thing like in the Matrix. The robots, they was outside the Matrix, and everybody's brain was just kept inside the Matrix while their bodies were held outside. Now that I got the key to how to leave my body, this was a thing that I started to do all the time. I would ask myself a series of questions. Where was I before I was born? I'm not my body. I am not even my mind. And going over and over that, I would start to leave my body more and start to go to this dark place. What I started to see in this dark place was these creatures are actually torturing our real essence. And what I seen was that this human reality was a TV screen that they put in front of us to keep us from feeling the actual pain of the torture. Same thing like with the Matrix. The human beings were inside of a pod and they were zapping their energy while their mind was playing around inside of a Matrix reality. Now, if these things are real or not, I'm still exploring. But the feeling that I got when I went over to the side was that these reptilian things are scared of who we really were. And if we all ganged up on them and went to the other dimension together, we could whoop their ass. But me by myself ain't strong enough. Every time I got over there, the pins and the needles, whatever they got, would shock me. And it would push my soul back into my body to where I couldn't even be over there no more.
Hey, bud, I'll go there with you.
See, my thing is, there's many different sides to this. Like, this isn't my only perspective on spirituality. It's not, you know what I'm saying? That's not my only way to tie together experiences, like, is my dad here yet? Okay, no, is we gonna stay up on the east?
I figured we just drive around.
Okay, yeah, that's cool, because I need to get some on my dad's car.
But yeah,
you
man.
guys want a hoop later, bro?
Yeah.
But man, like, that's interesting. I feel like you're in a dimension, you're tapping in a dimension that needs help. In the sense that you want to create peace, but the peace may have to come in your own way. But I believe that's the key at the end of the day. Blow love to those and go to the celestial light. I wouldn't be focused on that, I'm focused on the light.
See, it's not so much as everyone's gonna wake up.
Because everybody's gonna be like, other people are in celestial realms. There's different sides to the dimensions of worlds, like souls didn't all come from the same place exactly, because we all were celestial beings before this. So it's like, this is
what I see it as.
I know as like when I dream, I fly, no cap. I've seen it before. I've been flying. Like, I'll just jump up and fly to this other realm and I'm flying, bro. I'll just jump up in the sky and fly. And then
You went to another realm?
no, bro, I'm just flying up here on Earth. Saying like, now, like, it was letting me know, dude, you fly. And I'm thinking, you watch The Matrix, he's flying because he knew how to do it. He came back in this world serving because it's easy to tap in, And if you can understand that you're limitless, you can fly. A plane can fly. What? Come on, you can fly. But you gotta know you can. So it's like, it's a whole new perspective you have to put on yourself. You have to, because if you believe, just like in the Matrix, once you believe, it works. It's crazy. It's a funny thing, but you just have to understand that you can get anything here and you gotta use it to get out. The Matrix proved it. It's a cool movie though. It's like you got a limitless freedom and you use it to break the system, because that's the only way they did that. But yeah, it's a good movie.
But see, this is what I'm thinking, because also in the movie The Matrix, there was a time where all that was going to end. But also, if you notice, before that, there was people getting freed from the Matrix for a long time. The Matrix had a system where if you woke up, then they would just come and take you out of the Matrix themselves. They would let you leave. They wouldn't keep you awake inside of the Matrix. Same thing with here. I feel as if these reptilians got this planet like cattle and, sheep. It's just livestock. They're doing what they gotta do to stay alive. So if human beings got smart enough to not be captured and they wanted to wake up, then they would just have to let it happen. A certain amount of people always are waking up out of them dream and are always leaving, but also a certain amount of people are sleeping, still gonna be stuck here. Now, if you're attracted to spiritual topics, then your soul is about to be woken up. You're getting close to where you want to stop being a human being. Now, you might have been a human being 1,000 times. You might have lived that same exact life 1,000 times and forgot. But if you want to wake up, all it takes for you to do it. It's not up to nobody else. God's not gonna come and save you. They're not gonna stop doing what they're doing. And ain't nobody else trying to help you. You got to wake your own self up. So when people try to say, the end, it might be the end for you, but this matrix still going to exist. People still going to be here alive doing whatever they do. And even if we do have a doomsday scenario, after the epoch, people are still going to be here. There's always going to be somebody that wants to be a human. There's people that just their first life is being a human. This is their first time. It's hard to be a human for them.
But I feel like before you came here with a purpose, because you wouldn't have been here. Everybody has that one thing they got to do. It's a purpose thing. And maturing your purpose, it becomes limitless. It's crazy. Because if you look in the Matrix, you had that purpose. And if you pursued it, it would be infinite at the end of the day. Because you wouldn't have been here for no reason, bro. You wouldn't have tapped into this. There's a reason to win. That's the key. There's a reason to win at this, because you wouldn't be tapped in. But it's like, find the truth. You're here to find the truth. What's the truth? Find it.
It's like evolution pushing itself forward. From like when you're a baby, who made you turn into an adult? Who pushed them keys? Nobody did. It's just a thing that's written into the code that's already here. But if you want to get to the God level, stop being a human being, you have to push yourself there. It's not going to be an automatic evolution. To where you could grow up and be a person and then die and relive the same exact life.
I feel like there's ways to dematerialize and go to different arches in the planet to leave. And you can take your body with you and become that body in that realm. And I think that's the key, is to transcend and know that you're not from here. And go to other realms with your body. And becoming more immortal, because you are immortal. You are immortal.
Right.
You are. But you gotta leave this realm. This realm.
I think you're 100% right. And I think a lot of people know that. But this is what I think they don't know. They don't know how to do it.
I mean, you just gotta meditate and ask questions, like you said, it breaks it. And you have to be specific with yourself, because your higher self will show you whatever you say.
Well, yeah, but this is where my experiences are very important to understand, because what I seen was the personality turn off and then the entry into other dimensions. Now that's key. If you could learn how to control the personality instead of the personality and the emotions controlling you, then you're the master and you're not the servant. So anything inside of the body, you're able to control. There's people that can't even control their own emotions. There's levels to this. First, you know how to control your thoughts. Because certain thoughts will run through your head without you controlling them. You see something you don't like, all of a sudden you're mad or something. Are you able to control that? Are you able to control your own actions? Learn how to control that. The next step is learn how to turn your thoughts off. To actually able to sit there and not have a million thoughts running through your mind. To actually just sit quietly and have a peace with yourself. Not have thoughts run through your mind. That opens up another area inside of the soul, inside of the brain. So when you're not thinking, a knowing comes on. To where, okay, I want to go and think about this math problem, 17 times 32. Now you can sit there and think it out. 2 times 7, 2 times 1, But there's another area, and they call this genius, where you instantly know everything. And that place is achieved by turning the mind off. That's not an easy thing to do. It takes years and years to be able to turn your mind off. That's why monks and stuff take retreats and meditate deep in the mountains and stuff. All they're trying to turn their minds off. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get to the still. And they call it nirvana, peace of the heart. They're trying to get to that. So Them are the two steps to entering them spiritual powers. You know, you're not going to be able to be a psyche, to be a spiritual savant, if you're still having human thoughts. You have to be able to control the human thoughts before you get to the God level. That's what a lot of people don't know. Like, it's okay, you could do this, you could do that. Well, no, you can't. God can. But you have to become God. You know, that's the trick, becoming God. As long as you're a human being, you're not going to be able to do anything. Human beings are humans. We can't do nothing. We're personalities. You know? So, that's my message right there.
I feel like the portal. It's a portal. You are what you are, and you're a portal to do what you got to do. Because a specific reason, like everybody came here, because you got to get something out of this, and it's like a puzzle piece you came here for, and you have to understand that it's the true self. It'll take you there, like turning that mind off, letting it just go in the trash and go with the inner knowing, with the feeling of the heart, going with the pulse. But yeah, man, you already know this was like a good interview. So how can we contact JFs if they're looking for like more spiritual guidance? How are they gonna contact you?
I'm on YouTube, JF Foster, and on Facebook, everywhere JF
Alright.
Foster.
You guys already know, man. This is Journeymen podcast, I believe. 4. That's 5. Yeah, one of them, man. You already know. Peace. Namaste.